oh boy, do I feel good today! My review is done. It's gonna be dropping. I have it scheduled to drop later today. I get to rest because it took a lot of time for me to do that review, get everything together, and put it together the way I wanted. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it, and therefore I am entirely re-energized. So let's go ahead and get started with today's Fire Force, shall we? Hold on. Got like something hanging on my eyelash here. It's distracting me when I look around. Let's get started. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another live reading of me reading through all of Fire Force. Today, we're going to be checking out Volume 19 of the series, titled Nether Again. Let's begin, shall we? I feel happy right now. I really do. My review's over, which means I can dedicate the time I was taking after Fire Force and I wasn't doing streams. I now can go back to like doing gaming streams and having chill sessions with all of you. Summary! Yoda the Great. Hi there. Gotta go, but have a good stream. Hello. Goodbye. You have fun with whatever you're about to do. Summary! While investigating reports of a strange smell in the Nether, Maki's brother, Detective Takagi, is badly injured when he discovers an experimental facility belonging to the Evangelists. Danro, head of the Ose family and general of the Imperial Army, is concerned by the disturbing actions of the Evangelists' cult and so orders the military's Fire Force Company 2 to investigate the Nether. They request aid from Company 8. Meanwhile, Maki is ordered to return to the military, where she becomes a part of the Secretarial Division. Company 8 and Company 2 begin their joint investigation of the Nether, but they are met by an ambush of Infernals and Knights of the Purple Haze, placing both companies in danger of annihilation. So, the chapters we have is 160. Yeah, chapters 160 all the way down to 168. So let's begin. And we have... That is 160, right? Yeah, it is. We have chapters 160. So here we're back at the Imperial base, the Imperial Army base. And we have some soldiers speaking while Maki's in the background. I heard Company 2 and Company 8 are pairing up to do a large-scale investigation of the Nether. We might finally find out who's behind those white hoods and why they're threatening the Empire.
Company 8 is back in the Nether.
And you know how Maki feels about, not being with her crew. Chapter 160, Human and Bug Powers Combined. As we have a page here where there's Infernals walking around and the zombified corpses of fire soldiers that have been killed down there are reanimated and attacking everyone else. But last we left off, we were presented with the potential Shinra versus Dr. Giovanni. And we have Dr. Giovanni in a brand new outfit, more attuned to his allegiance to the Evangelists. Shinra Kusakabe, how long must you stay in that pathetic organization? You should be joining us.
What are you all doing here in the Nether?
Fire Soldier Kusakabe, is everything okay? And all of a sudden, soldier runs up next to Shinra, and then we see a long insect arm come out and jab this man in the shoulder. Do not interrupt me.
How could you? Where did that leg come from? What are you?
And we see the shadow of Dr. Giovanni's body just snap in different places and creak and make different sounds that don't sound human. As we see another insect leg come out of the side of his shoulder.
Insect legs?
Dang it! First the Infernals, then the moving corpses, and now a monster? Fire! Fire! And then we see Dr. Giovanni's goggles as they open fire on him, but he moves so fast, faster than these two fire soldiers can shoot at him. And he jabs what looks to be like a whole thorax directly into his chin, just straight up through there. He dodged our gunfire. And then it shows a leg aiming towards another member of Company 2, but Shinra runs up and manages to block it. A dragonfly has what are called compound eyes. These are composed of about 20,000 ommatidia, which function as lenses. It gives them a nearly 360-degree field of vision and kinetic eyesight good enough to follow speeding bullets. And it shows Shinra trying to hit Giovanni, but, he uses his extra limbs and such to dodge away from Shinra.
Get back, sir! I'll take care of him! Our first priority is to get the injured out. I have to draw Dr. Giovanni away from here.
So, you stubbornly insist on defending the injured. You're the one we want. I suggest you start worrying about yourself.
With my speed, I can get up close and knock him back before he...
You may be confident in your speed, but it won't help you if all you're going to do is charge me. And we see something coming out of his collar, and it looks like a centipede of some kind, but it's really weird looking. Hair pencils. Pheromone-regulating structures found in male moths. These release and detect pheromones. I further developed this function to include the ability to read human emotions, mental states, and more. So he has these male moth feelers that can detect pheromones, which allows him to read Shinra. I know everything about you. Let's just say I put a bug in your ear.
What the? Bugs? Why do you keep going on about bugs?
Surely you've heard the theory that insects are extraterrestrial life forms. They flew to Earth in eggs attached to meteorites. As the theory suggests, bugs are not of this world. However, bugs do not come from any meteorite. Bugs are creatures of Adola. I have been testing my hypothesis that fusing a human being with the bugs of Adola will bring said human closer to Adola.
And those extra legs? Don't tell me you've been using yourself as a guinea pig to test human compatibility with bugs in Adola!
Don't worry, you shall see it. I will show you the fruits of my research. As more limbs start to come out of Giovanni, and he even has what looks to be stingers coming out of his wrists as well. Then we cut back to another section of the Nether, and it's Arthur. The Night King will personally act as rear guard to fight off any pursuers. Take the injured and find an exit to the surface. Quickly now!
Thank you.
And Arthur is just cutting through all of these infernals as if they were nothing. And it's just a montage of him extinguishing so many infernals. In battle, I have the strength of 1,000 cavalrymen! My sword, the might of a raging god! Ha! And then Arthur's just gone.
He's gone. Fight off pursuers? There's no one left, you know!
As it shows another infernal that managed to survive this onslaught, chasing after these two fire soldiers from Company 2 that Arthur was teamed up with. Retreat! Retreat! But back to Shinra and Dr. Giovanni.
Whatever you're trying to do, we're gonna...
Pardon me.
Whatever you're trying to do, we're gonna stop you!
Stop us? But you've already fallen into our trap.
What?
As it shows Arthur right above Shinra, and he aims at Dr. Giovanni. Like he's made his way all the way to Dr. Giovanni. Yo, Halster, we're on chapter 160. As we have Arthur coming in, and he takes a swipe at Dr. Giovanni. The plasma wielder.
Arthur, what are you doing here? Where's your squad?
The Night King took up the rear to help them escape their pursuers.
If you're their rear guard, why are you here?
You fool. What do you know about a rear guard? I don't think even Arthur knows what a rear guard is. Rear guard is supposed to protect the back, not go to the front and then proceed forward. Arthur You stupid. Cole would give him a run for his money when it comes to stupidity. My opposition has doubled. Very well. I had more legs than I knew what to do with anyway. And it just shows Dr. Giovanni standing there with Shinra and Arthur preparing to fight against him. And that's the end of chapter 160. Onwards to chapter 161, Struggles. And then we have Iron, you know, the big guy, the big tanky member of the Purple Haze that was facing off against Hinawa and Takagi. He starts charging towards Hinawa right here. Stay back, sir. This one's dangerous. And Iron punches near Hinawa and pretty much breaks the ground he punches towards. You're the one who will stay back. And it shows Takagi using his powers to launch a fireball at Iron, who starts to, you know, try and resist it. And then Hinawa gets his gun ready and shoots Iron all over his body. And Iron goes, Morton sight! He deflected my bullets? Sergeant, are you sure you even hit him? I have very little faith in your marksmanship. After all, you recruited Maki to the Fire Force when she is clearly not suited for the job. You missed the mark when judging character, too. This brother's getting on my nerves, talking like this to Hinawa. And then it shows steam coming off of Iron. That's an awful lot of steam. He must be the kind of third gen who activates his powers inside his body.
It won't work! Nothing will! Not on my body of steel! My muscles are hard as rock! Morton sight!
As Iron, you know, hardens his arm, and he rushes towards Takagi and Hinawa. And in the process, he clotheslines an entire pillar. His arm just goes straight through the pillar. That's one of the pillars that's down here in this abandoned subway. You're kidding! He smashed the pillar? What is his body made of? And both Takagi and Hinawa dodge away before Iron can punch towards them, and he craters the ground once again. A body that can deflect bullets and crush pillars. He's hardening his muscles beyond what's humanly possible. As it shows Iron's body, Iron's arm deep in the ground from the impact of this punch. Think along the lines of Master Masculine to a degree from Bleach.
Your rock-solid logic is correct. You've heard of heat treating metal, haven't you? By heating metal to high pressure temperatures and immediately cooling it, the metal takes on the much sturdier crystalline structure known as martensite, making it harder than ever before. Using my ignition powers to heat the iron inside my body, then immediately quench the heat, I can control the hardness of my flesh. Oh yeah! I'm harder than rock. You could say I literally have a body of steel. Oh yeah! I'm harder than rock. You could say I literally have a body of steel. Yeah, oh yeah!
I'm not gonna give him a Macho Man Randy Savage voice. I'm not gonna do it. Excuse me, Sergeant. You had Maki fighting monsters like him? We learn anti-personnel techniques in the military, too. Anti-personnel? You consider that a person, Al? If it has arms and leg joints, it doesn't matter what the opponent is. Sergeant! Lieutenant. I am the Company 8 Lieutenant. And then Iron charges in again.
Rah! Flame hard!
And he lets out a big old blast of flame. Iron lets out a big old blast of flame towards Takagi and Hinawa. And Takagi just deflects it. Hold on. Let me make sure I saw something right. Okay, so earlier on when Takagi got in front of Hinawa and I says, you're the one who will stay back, I incorrectly thought that Takagi was the one conjuring up the fireball, but it was Iron, and Takagi was the one deflecting it. He's a second gen, just like Maki is. So I need to correct that mistake before someone calls me out on it, inevitably. But Takagi uses his powers to deflect another blast from Iron here. We'll talk about Maki later. Now we have to focus on the enemy at hand. Is what I'd like to say, but I won't be able to concentrate until I get answers. Please focus. You don't know the first thing about Maki. She is a peaceful flower garden. Leave her out of your madness. Let's focus. The Special Fire Force claims to the Special Fire Force claims to put human life first. But what you Company 8 people are doing, it's like you're just addicted to battle. And my thing is, Hina was right. You're fighting. Why are you trying to argue right now when someone's trying to kill you? Are you stupid? How did you get to your detective position? You always forget he's a second gen. I had to remind myself when he did this one thing. But Hinawa kind of twitches a little. And then Takagi deflects some more fire away from Hinawa as he goes, I want you savages to stay away from my family. Company 8 is not addicted to battle. I may be, but the company isn't. You're a bunch of barbarians who can't accomplish anything without resorting to violence. Dude, you're in the military. You're in the military. What? You're a bunch of barbarians who can't accomplish anything without resorting to violence. What do you think the military is used for? For just keeping the peace and telling people, you better not do this or we might do something, but we're not going to because we're not that type of military. That's not the military you're part of! I want to slap this dude. Oh, it's coming to mind how annoying I found him during the episodes. Oh, Lord Jesus, this is going to be hard for me. You're a bunch of barbarians who can't accomplish anything without resorting to violence. Then it shows Iron coming, speeding towards them with his hand lateral as he's preparing to, chop them. Look out, get behind me. As Iron chops towards them and causes a massive shockwave to happen from him chopping straight through another, what is that? Either a chair or whatever he was, he tried to swipe at him with his bare hand. He tried to swipe at him and they dodged out of the way. We were right to leave Maki out of this. I will make sure she never goes on another mission like this again. See, this is where he doesn't get it. He doesn't get to decide what Maki does. He may be the older brother, but this... Lord, please let me not go off on this dude. Maki isn't as delicate as you think anymore, Lieutenant Oze. I imagine not, after she's been hanging out with savages like you. And then Hinawa I love Hinawa's demeanor, that he's all like, okay, another blowhard. Another blowhard, let me just focus here. I applaud Hinawa for his patience, because people like this are nerve-wracking. They're your real test of patience. And Hinawa continues to fire at Iron.
Flame extra hard!
And then Takagi jumps up and deflects the fire away, and he lands right next to Hinawa. You keep firing that pea shooter like that. When are you going to take this seriously? You know the situation, Sergeant. If I'm going to hit him where it hurts, I may have to make sure to get the shots in before he gets his guard up.
Fist of extra hard flames!
Allow me to tear those obnoxious flames right off of you. I'm trying to talk about my sister and you are making it difficult. I wouldn't mind if he kept interrupting you to keep you from talking about your sister. And the flames dissipate from Iron's arm. And then Hinawa shoots. The one making things difficult on the battlefield, Lieutenant Oze, sir, is you. And he fires his bullets, but he controls their trajectory as they're around Iron, and then proceeds to hit Iron directly into his joints, specifically the creases of his arms and the bends of his shoulders. No matter how hard you make the rest of yourself, you can't harden your joints if you want to move.
But I have a body of steel! That's right. That's why I couldn't be a guardian.
If we had left Maki in your Company 8, she might have ended up as big and burly as that thing. Stay away from the Oze family. Please focus, sir. I love Hinawa. He's all... Oze... Takaji is over here is all like, stay away from my sister. Could you please focus? I'm not gonna I can't focus until I resolve this issue that I have with you and my sister. We're in the middle of a fight here. There's no time for that. I can't concentrate until you give me the answers I seek. Stay away from my family, you barbarians. My sister is delicate and precious, and she must be without a single blemish. We're in the middle of a fight here. Can you please focus, sir? I love Hinawa's patience, because I would have gone off and said, like, unless you gonna help, shut up! Because, you know, I got a limit, okay? When you just keep pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing, it takes a lot of pressing. Just don't try it. It takes a lot of pressing. But it's just like Hinawa and his patience must have been all this time being in the military for him to be able to withstand this amount of annoyance. That's the end of chapter 161. Onwards to 162. He who carries the weight. And now we're here with Tamaki, and she's, you know, looking after Juggernaut after Juggernaut beat down Orochi in the last chapter and in the last volume. And she's still using her flame powers, her cat flame powers, her flame cat powers.
Ashes as ashes, may thy soul return to the great flame of fire. Latom.
And she's winded and she's incredibly tired.
Darn, they just keep coming.
And then she looks back at Juggernaut, who's unconscious.
Juggernaut. I promise I'll get you back above ground, Juggernaut.
And then something looks like it's making its way towards Tamaki.
Huh? What?
And it's two members of the Purple Haze. I see no sign of Orochi. Where has she gone?
Those pointy hoods. And there are two of them.
What have we here? A survivor.
Just one of those pointy hoods took out unit leader Hachiki and Juggernaut, and now there are two.
You, girl, are you the one who bested Orochi? As one of them conjures up flames that looks like a scorpion tail and almost hits Tamaki and forces her back. If it was me, there'd been another casualty by Infernal. Yeah, but then Hinawa would have had to live with it.
I'm no match for them. I could never beat them. I don't stand a chance. The only way out of this is to run and save myself.
But then she glares.
No, I can't leave Juggernaut.
And her flame tails get even larger. And then she tries to whip fire at him. But all of a sudden, one of them runs up with a dagger in hand and completely knees her in her midsection. I am impressed to see that an insignificant peon such as yourself has survived these conditions. Was it luck that kept you alive? Perhaps by receiving some form of rescue. Now die. And before anything happens, before this White Hood, this member of the Purple Haze, can kill Tamaki, this same White Hood gets hit directly by Captain Honda! And he just gets headbutted by Captain Honda. Sent flying. Ah! Tamaki, are you okay? And we have Vulcan and Sister Iris.
Thank goodness.
Juggernaut.
As Captain Honda looks at his, unconscious subordinate, still missing his arm. And we have Captain Obi. You did good. I'm proud of you. Now stay behind me.
Captain!
And she's sniffing. And then, the one that got knocked away by Captain Honda stands up and he takes his hood off. Captain, that will save us time. We were just on our way to hunt you. Just what I wanted to hear. Captain of Company 8, what does a non-powered buffoon like you intend to do against we who wield flame? Come back when you can produce enough fire to light a match. And then Obi just ignores him and puts his cover down. You know, like when Tony gets serious and his suit closes up, that's what Obi's doing. He's all like, he doesn't say anything. He's all like, okay, square up. Huh! And this fire and this White Hood throws like a big fireball at Captain Obi. And then we have Captain Honda.
Captain Obi, stay back!
And because Captain Obi gets engulfed in the fire. But next we see is Captain Obi is not only completely fine, but he goes through the flame and he just one-shots this dude. Just one punch. He gets coked in fire, and next thing you know, you see the fire dissipating as Captain Obi delivers like a solid straight punch to this guy. And he hits this man so hard that the man breaks the ground on impact. And he's out. He is out.
I train every day until my muscles are on fire.
He defeated Sasori in a single blow.
I beg your pardon, Captain. Even without pyrokinesis, you do indeed carry the weight of Company 8.
Very good, but I will not be vanquished so easily, says the other one. And he easily gets vanquished by Captain Honda, as Captain Honda launches into that critical pain headbutt from Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction I told you about. He gets hit by Captain Honda and just embedded in the wall. This man's headbutt is ridiculous. Hit him so hard his head popped out of his hood.
Heave ho!
And both of these white clads are just completely done, just instantly done.
They're strong. They didn't make them captains for nothing.
We got worried when we lost contact with Lieutenant Kagenashi's squad. I'm glad you're okay.
I feel so pathetic. I always need someone to step in and save me. Even right now, if you captains hadn't shown up.
Sounds like you've got a lucky rescuer lore, Tamaki. Whoa! I'm sorry!
That was wrong, Vulcan-san. That was not the time for that.
Survival is what makes a good fire soldier, goes Captain Obi. You're an excellent member of the Force, Tamaki. Now we're going to survive and thwart the enemy's plot. And then she puts her hair back up, and she gets the rest of her gets some more clothes back on, and she salutes.
Yes, sir.
Take a message to every unit of Special Fire Force Company 2. All squads, assemble!
And then we have Ritsu. And this is Captain Honda who said all squads assemble. Then we have Ritsu.
Now, the preparations are complete. Thanks to the Fire Force, I have plenty of kindling. Now we'll use my Necropyro to drop Tokyo to the bottom of the earth.
As it shows what looks like buildings falling into the ground. Don't know if that's happening right now, but it looks like that's their goal. They intend to sink all of Tokyo. And that is the end of chapter 162. Onwards to chapter 163, A Plot for Extinction. And if I got anybody who wants to see what I'm reading, just look up Fire Force. Just look up Fire Force chapters on the internet, because I'm not going to show them because of copyright reasons, and I would rather avoid a strike again. So if you guys want to see what I'm seeing while I'm reading, then just look that up that way. But we have Licht running through the halls by himself. People have always told me I run weird. They've even laughed. That's why I hate running. But if I don't get away from here, I'm going to be killed by infernals. I don't want to die before I learn the truth of this world, and that means I have to get away, even if I have to run weird to do it. And then it shows Licht running around a corner, and then he runs into something. The something he runs into is somehow the backside of Tamaki. So much for the lucky rescuer lore. It just went right back. It just went right back to the lucky lecture lore as well. Fire Soldier Tamaki!
Licht-san?
Lectured, rescued, lectured again. She's a busy woman.
Excuse me? What do you think you're touching?
That's besides the point. I just escaped the jaws of death.
If you have to lech me, at least act graceful.
Licht, what happened to Lieutenant Hana's squad? Yeah, the squad was annihilated. I barely escaped with my life. You got here at just the right time, Licht. I need you to look at this. No time to catch my breath, is there? You know all the squad set up heat sensors. This is the graph of their readings. And it shows Vulcan holding up this big chart as it shows all the data of heat that's going on right now. They're picking up heat sources that are most likely infernals, distributed at even intervals. Infernals don't have minds of their own. Could they work together to form such a regular pattern? This alone doesn't confirm that, but it sure is creepy. And I'm noticing we're not being attacked by them anymore. It's awfully quiet. Infernal energy sources placed at even intervals. They're going to blow up the whole Nether! What?
What?
We're in trouble! If we don't do something fast, we're in for a huge disaster! And then it shows Ritsu going,
You silly fools. You had no idea that you were playing right into our hands. Now we'll use my necropyro powers to drop Tokyo to the bottom of the earth. What I lacked in fuel before, I can now provide with infernalized fire soldiers. You went out of your way to bring me such large quantities of human bombs, without even realizing that we brought you to the Nether, and I am ever so grateful. All that's left is to secure the fourth pillar, Shinra Kusakabe.
as it cuts to Shinra still fighting Giovanni, and Shinra, using his speed, knees Giovanni directly in his midsection to the point where even a fiery shockwave emanates from his back and sends Giovanni flying backwards. But not before Giovanni tries to skewer Shinra, which Shinra dodges, and then proceeds to hit Giovanni again, launching him into a nearby wall. Then we have Arthur with Violet Flash, and Giovanni uses his insect legs to flip himself out of the way of Arthur cutting straight through the pillar, and potentially himself if he hadn't moved. You dodged my Violet's Flash? That was very fast. If I hadn't read your pheromones, I wouldn't have been able to dodge it.
Darn, you're creepy!
As it shows Shinra hitting Giovanni directly in his back. Bombardier Beetle. And it shows Shinra and Arthur being engulfed in all this smoke. This burning smoke.
Yeah! That's hot! That's hot! Get off of me, stupid! Let go so at least one of us can survive!
Bombardier beetles can eject a spray hotter than 100 degrees Celsius, composed mainly of steam and What? Words. Okay, we're about to learn some new words today. How do you spell this word? Benzo. How do you say this? How do you say it? How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce this word? Pronunciation. Use it in a sentence. Ah, there it is. Benzoquinone. Bombardier beetles can eject a spray hotter than 100 degrees Celsius, composed mainly of steam and benzoquinone. In the Nether, there is no way to escape this high-temperature gas.
What are you white-clad goons doing sneaking around in the Nether anyway?
We won't be here long. It's only a matter of time. The preparations are all in order.
What?
As Giovanni continues to use his insect limbs to try and fight Shinra and Arthur. The destruction of this world is at hand. Very soon, the pillars will be assembled, and the Evangelist's plan will be complete.
A plan where you're going to collect a Dola burst and start another cataclysm? We're gonna stop that plan!
Haven't you learned in your investigation? The Tokyo Empire itself was built up in accordance with the Evangelist's grand design. The Holy Soul Temple, Amaterasu, all of it was created for this moment. And above all, it is the humans themselves who wish for destruction, is it not? Nothing you can do to stop it now. As he lets out more Bombardier beetle gas, bombardier beetle gas while Shinra is still finding his limbs.
Huh? Humans themselves want to be destroyed? Our mission in the Fire Force is to protect people's lives and property. You don't get to decide what happens to them!
As he continues to fight Giovanni.
So you're saying the Fire Force will rob humanity of their chance to attain a higher dimension via destruction? Never mind, Shinra Kusakabe. You will understand very shortly. Just like your brother does.
What? What happened to Sho?
And then it shows a very angry face for Shinra as he has like that same tense face, but you can tell there's anger. And while I'm speaking, I'm taking off the security tab in this page. Yep, there's another one.
He's behaving himself until the time that will soon be upon us, sitting still like a little doll.
And then we cut to a very ornate room, and we have someone doing something to someone else, and it's Haomiya, and she's got like a little brush. She's got like a little brush in her hands, and she's using this brush on someone's face while Arrow's looking in the background. And the person there that Haomiya's messing with is Sho. And this man is dressed up like he's straight out of Black Butler. He's got like an ascot. You know, not a tie, not a scarf. He has one of those old-timey ascots on.
I've always wanted a pretty doll like you.
And then Arrow looks away, who's then immediately forced to still look by Haomiya going,
Don't look away, Arrow. You need to see this. So sit still and watch. See how I play with my doll.
And that's the end of chapter 163. Onwards to 164. When duty calls. Man, Haomiya messed up Sho's mind. But then we get Shinra going,
Sho! Where is Sho?
The fine young man that he is, that pillar is where he needs to be for the coming cataclysm. Shinra Kusakabe, your brother is well behaved and obedient, unlike you. Right about now, I suspect Haomiya has claimed him as her toy.
Then it shows Shinra moving at such a speed that Giovanni gets bodied by Shinra. Like, he's laughing, and then all you see is just Shinra making Giovanni's neck be reminded of the shape of his leg, just right in his neck, and kicks him away.
So what if you can read my mind? I just had to be so fast you still can't react!
There's no one here. He vanished.
I'm still here, goes Arthur. And then Shinra appears again and hits Giovanni faster than he can respond.
No!
And Shinra just keeps beating him up over and over again. And Giovanni cannot defend himself. It's beautiful!
Such tremendous acceleration.
And as he's saying this, Shinra lands directly on top of his head, causing his head to forcibly drop. You know, like, it's one thing to have your head be pulled in another direction. It's another for someone to drop their knee directly onto you at high speeds.
I see you have no intention of coming quietly.
And this one attack was enough to break the goggles of Giovanni, but we still don't see underneath.
I felt how bloodthirsty you were at Vulcan's workshop. I could never trust anyone with that much evil in his heart.
Felt?
Yeah. Aren't you the expert on this stuff?
You and I connected with an Adola link. And you're certain you heard my voice.
And? What's your point?
Incredible! This is wonderful news. Thank you, thank you! You say a mere human like myself connected to you via Adola, but only those with ties to Adola can perform an Adola link. My bug experiments, the fruits of my labor, I have come nearer to Adola!
Wait, are you saying I can't hear someone's voice unless they have ties to Adola?
Presumably, yes. Adola links only arise for those possessed of an Adola burst, or those who have made contact with Adola.
Wait a minute. I've heard people talk through Adola links twice. Once when I heard Dr. Giovanni giving orders to kill.
Kill Vulcan.
The other time was when I heard Lieutenant Conroe asking for help. If I can only Adola link to someone with an Adola burst, how did I link with Lieutenant Conroe?
Is something the matter?
Shut up!
Do you know about Adola? About the Evangelist? The Evangelist isn't in this world. She is in Adola. And if she is not in this world, how do you intend to stop her? You may have the power to connect to the higher plane, but the best you can hope to accomplish is a mere glimpse at it. A mere glimpse at it.
Are you saying it's not possible for us to go to Adola? And this is Arthur.
How do you intend to put out a fire without going to the scene, my dear fire soldier? The world will burn, and nothing can be done to stop it. We humans are no more than fuel to feed the fire that will consume this planet. Humanity has always worshipped the sun. They would never refuse the chance to burn bright in its similitude.
But it was the Evangelist who gave humanity those ideas.
Ritsu is making the preparations as we speak. We will start by showing you that people are tools of destruction. We will use the Nether underground to utterly demolish the Tokyo Empire above ground.
And then we cut back to Captain Obi.
Building implosion?
Vulcan-san, what's a building implosion?
It's a way to tear down large buildings. You use explosives to destroy the important structural connections and make the building collapse under its own weight.
And the enemy is attempting the building implosion? Are you sure about this?
Yes, I'm fairly certain. And this is Licht talking to Captain Honda. The enemy is going to use the Infernals to create a shaped charge.
Shape charge?
According to the sensors, the Infernals are positioned in a conical pattern, like so. And he draws an image where every level down deeper into the Nether, there's more and more Infernals as they start to make like a triangular conal shape towards the base. According to the sensors, the Infernals are positioned in a conical pattern, like so.
You're saying there's some significance to this formation?
The shaped charges used in building implosion take advantage of a phenomenon called the Monroe or Newman effect, which requires the explosive to be conical. If you place a thin metal liner inside the bomb, when detonated, the shock of the explosion will create a metallic jet that flies straight up from the center of the cone. Because it's launched by an explosion, the jet's movement is powerful enough to punch a hole through anything in its path. That's what we use for controlled demolition. They're using infernals as explosives to create a shaped charge and cause maximum damage while expending the minimal amount of energy. Geographically, we're under the center of the Tokyo Empire. The damage will be immeasurable.
And if they attempt a building implosion in this part of the Nether,
the Tokyo Empire will be annihilated.
Is there anything we can do to stop it?
And this is Captain Obi. And then we have Takagi, along with Lieutenant Hinawa. I heard the whole thing. Sorry I'm late. The band behind me was slowing me down. And like the patient person he is, Hinawa doesn't respond.
Detective Oze!
I've memorized the entire layout of the Nether. Is there anything I can do to help? The direction of the jet is key in making a shaped charge work. If we can alter that, we might make it through this. We'll need a second-generation pyrokinetic who can take control of flames over a wide area. Lieutenant Hinawa's powers are best for pinpoint precision. They're not suited for this mission. Useless. And Takagi is just taking every opportunity to just dog out Hinawa. But then the sensor goes off. Whoa, whoa, whoa! We don't exactly have time to stand around chatting. She's gonna blow!
What do we do? Aren't there any other second-generation pyromatics here?
A second gen who can work over a wide range. It would almost take a monster to manage it. I only know one person with that kind of power. first-class fire soldier Makiyose. Oh, wait, she's a secretary now, isn't she?
Much to the annoyance of Takagi.
I seem to remember the detective took her away from us.
She's not here! Why waste our breath talking about her? We'll just have to manage with the second gens who are already here. Lieutenant Hinawa, give me a hand!
I can't help, sir. I'm useless.
What? After all your self-righteous blather about putting lives first, now you're showing me that Company 8 really is just a bunch of violent savages. This man? The amount of patience that's wearing thin. But then Captain Obi is right behind Takagi because, you know, Captain Obi don't play.
I assure you, we will handle this. Company 8 does put lives first. And if we don't stop this, a lot of people above ground are going to die. Vulcan!
I'm on it! And he flicks over the 8 for Company 8. You know, the same thing that the same keepsake they gave Maki when she went to go be a secretary.
We don't give a darn about protocol when people's lives are on the line.
Sorry I'm late.
As Maki runs right in.
Yo, Maki! Let's go, Maki!
Oh, I'm so happy to see her.
Sorry I'm late.
As Maki runs into frame.
Maki?
Maki-san! I know what's going on. I heard it on the communicator Vulcan-san gave me.
Oh, so the keepsake was a listening device! The 8 that she kept with her as a secretary was also a communicator. Vulcan, you mad genius. Okay. Hold on. I gotta adjust something because it kind of looks dark even though it's like 1 p.m. Hold on, let me adjust this. All right. It's a lot brighter. It's a lot better. All right, let's go.
I know what's going on. I heard it on the communicator Vulcan-san gave me.
Company 8 doesn't keep secrets from each other.
And you're sure you're okay with this?
Yes, sir.
Maki, what are you doing here? It's not safe.
You're still saying that? Right now, saving lives comes first.
That's no reason to risk your life.
Why not? You risked yours to come here, didn't you?
You're a woman!
Oh, so he's... Oh, so your boy Takagi is a chauvinist. Oh, that's horrible.
You are a woman, so I can't risk...
So I can't risk my life because I'm a woman? You're gonna make me stay away from the front lines? You're gonna make me stay away from the front lines like you did to Mom? I'm going to use my powers to protect people! Vulcan, give me the signal.
The explosion is coming. Stay just like that. Maki, there's still time. Get to safety now! Maki! Sir! Wait, it's true that Maki-san's power can stop the controlled demolition, but it won't put out the flames caused by the explosion. And here in the Nether, there's nowhere for those flames to go. In other words, everyone down here in the Nether, including us, will be roasted alive. Too bad, so sad.
And that is the end of chapter 164. Onwards to 165. Last Witch Attempt. Vulcan, I feel, is a character who clutches up a lot more than we give him credit for. He really does, because I didn't even know that the 8 was a communication device.
We're all going to die? What are you saying, Licht? If we use Maki-san's powers to change the direction of the shaped charge created by the infernal bombs, we can stop it from destroying these tunnels in Tokyo above them. But we're in the Nether. The flames from the explosion will be trapped here, and we'll all burn to death in the resulting heat. Except for Fire Soldier Tamaki, who has very high heat resistance. Seriously?
Oh, God. I'm gonna be the only survivor again!
And then, Takagi just looks silently.
But what can we do?
We're fire soldiers. If that's what it takes to save lives, then that's what we'll do. Vulcan, the signal!
Yeah, I'm ready.
Is that all right, Captain Obi?
Sure is, and we'll find a way to save ourselves, too.
Yeah, heroics are nice, but I really don't want to die, so let me think. If we can find somewhere in the Nether for the heat to escape to, then maybe. But Tokyo's Nether is very complex, and we don't have any reference material, so how can we find... In the course of my investigation, I memorized every map of the Empire's Nether. If we look at everything, including the sections that have been buried, I think there should be some place big enough to send that heat. That's true. It's true that if we know the lay of the land, we could... As for the flames themselves, we could use a geothermal heat pump.
Yo, Licht, we're out of time!
Then there's no time to explain, so let me give step-by-step instructions.
And then it has Takagi going up to Maki.
Oni-chan.
You just focus on controlling those flames right now.
Detective Oze, it is crucial that the two of you be in perfect sync, using your knowledge of the Nether's layout to navigate Maki-san's powers and get the flame somewhere that matches my description.
I'm getting something. There's been a temperature spike in all heat sources within 3 kilometers.
Kaboom!
Goes Ritsu, as all of the infernals that she set up, they all go off. It's now or never! And Maki's preparing as we get wind, as everyone's preparing.
The infernals have detonated! First, change the direction of the jet formed by the shaped charge. If we can just change the direction of the blast, we can stop everything from collapsing!
You take shelter under here, Sister Iris.
Yes, sir.
As Hinawa and Obi watch over Iris, as she's hiding under a little table.
Where do the flames need to go after we change the direction? I'll make sure they get there.
And then there's a massive explosion that's felt by everyone, causing both Maki and Takagi to be kind of launched in the air a little bit. And then it shows fire just careening through the hallways because of such a massive explosion. And everything's shaking from the force of it.
Maki! Detective Oze! Send the fire as far down as you can! I take hold of the flames, and I won't let them go. All the fire around me.
As it shows the fire going up, but then starting to go back down, and starting to move to another location.
Is that my command?
As it shows Maki in a very nice full-page panel, floating in the air like she's like the manipulator of all fire. And then Ritsu starts walking away like she's proud.
This is only the beginning. The true destruction of Tokyo has yet to...
And then she stops, because she's listening, but she doesn't hear anything.
Huh?
Maki, you just hold on to those flames. I'll guide them to where they need to go. The Tokyo Nether is an immense system of tunnels. There are passages that are now inaccessible to people, but not to fire.
As it shows the fire traveling, because not only is Maki holding on to the flames, but Takagi is also using Maki's control of the flames to navigate through the tunnels simply by memory, and guiding all of these flames down to lower places. And it shows the fire breaking through some of the cracks of some places that were buried.
Keep it up! Get the flames to the deepest part of the Nether. If there's some point where a wall has collapsed and the earth is exposed, then we just need to get them there, and we can use the geothermal heat sink to reduce their temperature.
Geothermal heat sink?
Subterranean temperatures from 10 to 200 meters below the surface have a tendency to stabilize at the average soil temperature. The soil absorbs any excess heat.
Oh, like that old cooling technology where they'd send hot air into the Nether.
And then it shows the flames inside this area.
Oni-chan!
You heard them, right? We're sending the heat into the soil.
And then the heat just starts to go into the ground.
Just like that. Send all the heat into the ground. With your sibling powers and the laws of geothermal heating combined, over time the earth will cool the flames for us.
And it shows the flames going into the ground more and more as the rumbling stops and the temperature starts to cool off in the area where they are.
Looks like it's working,
Captain Obi. And Hina was just watching, silently.
Without Maki, we would have been squashed flat along with all of Tokyo. Maki is the very model of a real fire soldier. Company 8 can't survive without her. You're a perfect judge of character, Hinawa.
And remember how Takagi was very quick to say that that Hinawa was a poor judge of character earlier on. So, and Obi's just smiling at Hinawa, who, remains as emotionless as always. Then Takagi lets go of Maki. Did we stop it?
Oni-chan, this is what I do. This is what Company 8 does.
And then we hear the patter of the aftershocks of the shockwaves as we zone in towards Shinra and Arthur.
What was that sound?
It failed?
Failed? I don't know what you were plotting, but it looks like it didn't stand a chance against Company 8's teamwork. Hey, Arthur, let's show him our teamwork.
And as he looks over to Arthur, all we see is the outline of where Arthur was. And we see Arthur right behind Giovanni. Non-self. As Arthur's eyes kind of look like they're hazed over, like he's not all there.
When did he? How did I not sense him with my hair pencils?
Teamwork?
And Arthur slices completely through Dr. Giovanni. Non-self. Nirvana. Deliverance. My mind can no longer be read. My sword has reached the realm of the bodhisattvas.
No, your mind is just blank. And none of this is related to knights.
And that's the end of chapter 165. Onwards to 166, Tracing the Connection. But Dr. Giovanni, his whole entire torso has been completely separated because of Arthur's non-self Nirvana slash, and he's just laying there. Non-self. Without taking a single breath, I unleash a blow that takes your life. That one blow, delivered unnoticed by a master of reading breath, is truly the fatal strike. This dude would not last with Hashira training. Huh. Die, thou villain.
Seriously, you don't hold back, do you?
And Dr. Giovanni just starts laughing. So even Company 8 has its share of cold-blooded professionals. Perhaps subconsciously, I had been underestimating you. And from the part of Giovanni's body that houses his upper torso and his head, small bugs start to come out. Like a massive amount of bugs, and they all start flying in the air.
Bugs?
And it starts flying around Arthur, and he starts swiping at them. And then the part that has Giovanni's head, it sprouts smaller bug legs, like he's the thing that's detaching himself from a body part, and that body part is making more appendages so he can get away. Like that one scene where the dude had a heart attack, his chest opened up, he ate the guy's arms, and then when everyone wanted to burn his body, his head detached from itself and grew legs, and it grew extra eyes, and it started crawling away. And then the one dude says, you gotta be kidding, and then they set it on fire. Yeah, Dr. Giovanni's pulling that. And while the bugs are surrounded by Arthur, Arthur gets doused in flames by Shinra. And while that's going on, Shinra is just kicking up all this flames around in order to, get rid of the bugs.
Where's Giovanni?
He's right here, isn't he?
No, stupid, I meant his head!
Because Arthur is holding up the part of Giovanni that was his legs. My research on bugs has borne fruit. Now I know I've made an Adola link. We will meet again. As Giovanni has escaped, and then everyone joins up with almost everyone joins up with everyone else. And then we have Captain Obi talking to Captain Honda. Have you accounted for all of your soldiers?
We lost more than I could have imagined. But now I know just how dangerous these white-clad radicals can be. And without Fire Soldier Maki, I'm sure the damage would have been exponentially greater.
Well, Oni-chan?
Hmm?
Do you understand what I do now? What Company 8 does?
Yeah, you're right. I'll talk to Dad for you. But he is bad news. He only thinks of you as a meat shield. Stay away from him.
I guess I should have explained earlier. Anyway.
As Maki takes her, her witch hat off, it pretty much is a witch hat. She takes it off and she stands in front of Hinawa.
I I want to come back to Company 8.
Maybe you should. Your powers are a good fit for the Fire Force.
And then Maki says,
And me. It's not just my powers, my ambitions, my resolve. They're a good fit too, sir.
I see. Then we'll apply to have you transferred back to Company 8.
and then Maki's all like,
Huh? Were you testing me?
The White Hoods are getting more and more radical. I was afraid a sheltered girl like you wouldn't be able to fight them. Good work today.
and then he just walks away, with Maki smiling and slightly blushing.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, stay away from the Oze family! And everyone's just ignoring Takaji, like they should. Then we get Vulcan. I'm not getting any more heat readings. Mission accomplished.
Search for the bodies of the soldiers who died in the line of duty. Find as many as you can. I'll take the injured and we'll go back to base. Above ground.
And then we cut to everyone leaving the Nether, which with Shinra and company going out first, seeing the sun beaming up in the air.
It's such a relief to see the sun again. I can't stop thinking about what Dr. Giovanni said. You can only do an Adola link with someone who has an Adola burst or someone who's made contact with Adola? Then how did I hear Lieutenant Conroe calling to me? If I can unravel the mysteries behind the Adola link, then maybe I can go to Adola.
Sorry, I felt like I was burping in the middle of saying that line.
If I can unravel the mysteries behind the Adola link, then maybe I can go to Adola.
And we have people calling out for, a normal stretcher can't carry him! Go find a big board or something! And they had to get like a really big board in order to carry out Juggernaut.
Juggernaut managed to make it somehow. He lost his right hand and left leg, and there are cuts and burns all over him. But he's still alive. He's got the vitality of a potato.
And it shows Juggernaut laying there, unconscious.
Juggernaut, you hung in there until we dug you up. Good job.
Fire Soldier Kotatsu, I forgot to thank you. Juggernaut never would have survived without you. Thank you!
No, I'm the one who should be grateful. If Unit Leader Hajiki and Fire Soldier Noto hadn't been there, I wouldn't be here.
And then Honda just puts his hand on top of her head.
Company 2 was dealt a serious blow in this mission. Without the help of Company 8, we might have been completely wiped out. The military and the fire force cannot be divided. Tokyo must be united. I am quite glad that we didn't lose any of you young fire soldiers.
Forgot he lost a leg too? Yeah, his leg got slashed through by Orochi along with one of his arms as well. So your boy got hurt and he still brought her down. The Oze estate, and we have General Danro and his wife walking in.
Thinking about Maki?
She went back to the fire force today.
Are you still worried about her?
As her father, I believe in her. I want to let my daughter do what she wants, but that doesn't stop me from worrying. She truly has superpowers. She gets that from her mother, you know.
Oh, I'm not that powerful.
Were you unhappy too, Madoka? Leaving the military for this home life?
It takes everything I have to defend my family. But Maki isn't like me. We'll always see her as our adorable, carefree little girl. But she has great strength and a powerful will. She gets that from you, Danro. All we can do is keep watching over her. Our dear little girl.
And it shows them looking at a picture of Maki on top of Danro's head when she was a child. And even here, his eyebrows are still making their presence known. And that's the end of chapter 166, onwards to 167, A Man of Honor. And we have some weird-looking individual. Oh, wait, is this Yona? This is Yona, but his appearance has changed drastically. Go to this man who has performed an Adola link, thou servant of the evangelist. I hear you and obey I hear you and I obey, Yona. It is in your hands. Special Fire Cathedral 8. Captain Akitaro Obi. Lieutenant Takahisa Hinawa.
Who are you calling a gorilla cyclops?
Unit Leader Maki Oze.
So Maki's finally been promoted, huh?
I'm really happy for her.
But we don't even have units.
What's your point?
My point is, nothing has changed at all.
And everyone's laughing.
Really, Company 8? This seems fine to you?
And this is Tamaki with Iris, and she's just laughing along slightly. And then we have Hinawa go, and then we have the words of, and no squads for a lieutenant to command either, as it shows Hinawa. Then we have Captain Hibata, who's right back at Company 8 again.
It's like Company 8 is pretending to play fire soldiers. You know you're a real fire force, right?
It's comforting being surrounded by idiots, isn't it?
You recruited all these idiots.
And they're the real deal. No poaching by soldiers.
As she winces at him because, you know, she still wants Shinra.
So, about what Dr. Giovanni told Shinra.
Yes, sir. Apparently.
Oh wait, so this is Licht who said it. So, about what Dr. Giovanni told Shinra.
Yes, sir. Apparently, an Adola link only happens between people with an Adola burst or people who have had contact with Adola.
And Shinra, you've Adola linked with Dr. Giovanni and
Company 7's Lieutenant Conro.
I don't trust this Conroe person. He may be in league with the Evangelists.
He's not. Lieutenant Conro is the last person in the world who would join them.
We won't get anywhere standing here arguing about him.
If I can figure out how I link to Lieutenant Conro, then maybe I can find out how to get to Adola. Let's go to see Lieutenant Conro!
And we're back in Asakusa. Step right up, buy now and get one free. And it's one of those, you know, one of those little cat statues, that lucky cat statues that always has the palms going up and down. Someone's selling that while Shinra and Hibana are traveling. They're the ones who are traveling here in Asakusa.
I love how Asakusa is always so full of life.
Was it really all right to drop in on them without an appointment?
It's fine. Company 7 hates formalities.
Then we get to the guardhouse.
Oh, you're that Company 8 kid.
Shinra Kusakabe, sir.
Along with a real beauty. She your girlfriend? Maybe you're not as dumb as you look.
She's not my girlfriend. This is the captain of Company 5.
His girlfriend?
The captain? I don't know. The look on her face is screaming she don't mind the idea.
Girlfriend?
As she starts fidgeting.
So what's the captain of Company 5 doing in Asakusa anyway? Lieutenant Conro? He's not at the guardhouse right now. He went off by himself. He was headed along the Sumida River to the shed in the outskirts of town,
Thank you, sir.
A lieutenant, heading off alone to a deserted storage shed. I trust him less and less.
I'm sure he had a reason to go there.
You're too trusting, Shinra. He could easily deceive you. I came along to make sure that doesn't happen.
Conro-san is one person I know I can trust.
And it shows Conro at this place right next to the Sumida River. And he's just standing there, silently. And and a member of the Evangelists is right behind him. So, you finally noticed. You've been sneaking around in my shadow for, what, 2-3 days now? Oh, you knew that and you still came out here unaccompanied. And you, a samurai crippled by tephrosis, your courage at least is still worth something. As this white-clad brings out these short daggers in his hands. If we're going to do this, can we get it over with? And this person tries to take their daggers out, and numerous flame daggers, while Hibana and Shinra get closer to the house.
First of all, proto-nationalists are a bunch of stubborn idiots who refuse to follow the Emperor. There's no telling what they might do.
Wait,
and they see Conroe fighting one of the White Clad.
One of the white clad?
There!
There! You see that?
No! He's being attacked! I have to help him!
Don't be so hasty. It's our chance to see who he really is.
Just, Lieutenant Conroe has Tefrosis!
As it shows Conroe coughing as he's facing off against this member of the White Clad.
Company 7 Lieutenant, your head is mine!
As it looks like this dude is about to, fully attack Conroe. And then there's a shoo. And Conroe apparently slices through this dude with this cane sword. Like one of those cane swords, the kind that Zatoichi would use. He just slices through him in one swift stroke, and the dude just drops to the ground.
Lieutenant Conroe!
Shinra?
You defeated a trained assassin in seconds without using your powers.
What are you doing in Asakusa? I'm a little busy. Can it wait until I'm finished up here?
And then it shows them all having tea, just later on.
And you did this Adola Link thing with me?
Yes, sir. Have you ever seen something that reminded you of hell? Like another world or something?
And he's thinking back to that horned infernal that he faced all those years ago. The one that caused him to suffer Tefrosis because he had to overuse his powers in order to destroy it. It's a horned infernal just looking at him and smiling.
Are you... me? Yes, I have. It happened 2 years ago.
And that's the end of chapter 167. Onwards to the last chapter of this volume, chapter 168, Mirror to Mirror.
Remember when I told you about the big fire that broke out in Asakusa 2 years ago?
2 years ago? You mean the fire when the demon came to Asakusa?
That's the one, when I got my Tefrosis.
And it shows a flashback of all the panels that we've seen beforehand, and I've read beforehand. And then it shows this horned infernal with, swirly fire eyebrows with a big giant smile on its face, and, flame swirls coming off and emanating from its shoulders.
A demon? What are you? You're not a normal infernal.
And then this infernal speaks.
Fool. That infernal wasn't like the others.
And, Conroe starts making swirls on his shoulders. The same swirls that this infernal is using.
It was like looking at my reflection in the mirror. You are one creepy bastard.
And they both launch at each other, and they're hitting each other, and their fists collide with the same level of strength. And they're clashing with one another.
Looking at your reflection?
A doppelganger.
Are you trying to take my place then?
And this infernal is smiling.
Well, you can have it. If you want it to protect Asakusa. But I bet that's not the case.
As it shows this infernal steadily fighting Conroe. And then it shows the moment where Conroe gained the scar that he would later have across his nose. It using its horns to scrape him in the face. Ravi, what's going on? We're on the final chapter of Volume 19 of Fire Force. And then tomorrow will be Volume 20. And thus, the moment I step into the unseen territory of Fire Force past the anime. We're almost there.
But I bet that's not the case.
And then this horn infernal scratches Conroe across his nose, giving him that scar.
Akatsuki! Crimson Moon!
And he uses this same attack that would later give him Tefrosis because of him overusing his powers, and also what would leave him sitting right next to a giant crater that Benimaru would later wake up next to, because beforehand, remember, he shoved Benimaru straight into a building and knocked him out.
Akatsuki! Crimson Moon!
And the whole area where the crater would later be just goes up.
Die, you bastard!
And the whole infernal just gets disintegrated as we fade out of this flashback.
That's when I felt it. The other world.
As he's sitting there after defeating this infernal, he sees the world of Adola.
If that's the other world you're talking about, I guess that means I did do one of those Adola links.
What bothers me about this story is that you sensed that the demon was a reflection of yourself.
It was like looking in a mirror. I mean, I don't have horns, but...
Captain Ibana, I heard you say doppelganger. What is a doppelganger?
A doppelganger is like another self. It's something of an urban legend. It claims that somewhere in the world, there's someone who looks exactly like you. It's just a bunch of occult mumbo-jumbo, but apparently when you meet your doppelganger, you die, or it kills you.
Yikes!
Well, I did feel like it had come here to kill me.
But you pulverized it instead. You really are tough.
Classic Lieutenant Conroe.
Oh, please.
We just can't brush off your story as occult mumbo-jumbo, though. I'll start looking into doppelgangers.
You modern ladies sure are smart. Anyway, what is the deal with the white-clad goons?
We don't know. We can't seem to find any information on any of them.
They've been trailing me the last couple of days, but why?
Maybe it has something to do with the fact that you've seen Adola. It looks like most people who've seen Adola end up with some kind of scar.
As he thinks of Captain Soichiro, Captain Burns, and even Joker. And now, another person who has had an Adola link, Kanro. He's an individual who has a scar as well.
Then are you saying the others might be targeted too? But why would they go after people who've seen Adola?
Is it an inconvenience? Is it an inconvenience to them? To have people around who've seen Adola?
And then we have Benimaru.
What? They went after Kanro? He wouldn't stop hanging around, and I figured I wouldn't get to him unless I was alone, but it's taken care of now.
It was awesome, sir. Just one hit and he didn't even use his powers.
And Benimaru takes the opportunity where it seems like Shinra's distracted, and he jabs at Shinra, who immediately dodges.
You dodged.
Yeah, because you taught me about the breath of life.
That means you can actually fight now.
But the white-clad goons are getting more powerful, too. At least one of them can predict attacks, and my rapid and corner moves won't always work on them.
And then Benimaru is silent.
If you were going to fight them, Captain Shinmon, how would you do it?
You've grown enough. Maybe you can do it too.
Huh?
I'd use the hysterical strength of the fight-or-flight response.
Hysterical strength?
The human brain has a limiter on it that prevents it from using more than 30% of its power. But in a moment of crisis, we can overcome that limiter to use all of our latent abilities. We call it hysterical strength.
If I could do that. But how could I do that, sir?
How should I know? Figure it out by yourself. Figure it out yourself. Waka, you can't tell him that when it was your idea. Go get all of your company's rookies. I don't want to teach you one at a time. Well, how about that? You get personal training from Waka again.
Thank you very much, sir. I promise you, I will become stronger.
The very next day, as we have Arthur and everyone has stopped by in Asakusa.
The Knight Samurai has returned to grace Asakusa with his presence once more.
Didn't you want to be the samurai knight? You're turning yourself into a samurai. Stop talking stupid and let's go.
And then he enters into the guard room.
Hello?
You're early. Is that an Empire thing? Showing up before something starts? So it's just you and Mr. Topknot again.
No, sir. We got one more who wants to learn.
And who's the person who steps into frame? It's Tamaki!
I'm Tamaki Kotatsu. Please train me too!
To be continued in volume 20. And we have a very short translation notes. Look at Tamaki. She wants to train to become stronger as well. She doesn't want... Imagine. You know what? I'm not going to imagine because we're going to read it eventually. Tamaki wants to get stronger! Oh, just flex your muscles. Flex your muscles for Tamaki. Flex it! Flex it! But, yeah. I'm happy for her that she wants to actually get stronger. Reminds me of King, except everyone's not going to look at Tamaki and think that she's too strong to be trained and want to avoid her at all costs. Translation notes! Hard as rock, page 31. Specifically, Iron describes his muscles as kachi, which is a rather emphatic, especially with the extra T in the first kachi, sound effect to indicate that something is hard. The concept of kachi muscles was popularized by Ayumu Kato, member of comedy duo Zabungle, who would try to show off his intimidatingly hard muscles in a comedy sketch. Non-self, etc. Page 125. The concept of non-self, or anatta, is one of the 3 right understandings of Buddhism. This doctrine states that there is no permanent underlying soul in living beings, including human beings. The ability to accept that there is no self is a step to enlightenment. When one attains enlightenment, one may find release or deliverance from the pains of this world and go to nirvana. A bodhisattva is someone similar to gods who have gained enlightenment, but instead of going to nirvana, have chosen to remain on earth to guide others. They may be considered on the same levels as the gods. Hysterical strength, page 182. In Japanese, the common description of this type of strength is kajiba no bakajikara. Kajiba no bakajikara. Yeah. Kajiba no bakajikara. Kajiba no bakajigara, which literally translates to insane strength at the scene of a fire. I butchered that so horribly, I am so sorry. But that's it for the translation notes, and that's it for volume 19 of Fire Force, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, we begin volume 20, and thus we'll only have 14 more volumes to go through before I am done. Yeah. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Well, actually, if I don't count a volume 20, we're gonna have 14. But we still got volume 20. We'll take care of that tomorrow. But I'm done, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic read for Fire Force. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow. All I can say to everyone right now is that, 1, thank you for the support of this channel and everything you do for me. Let's make 2024 great. If I don't say this to you guys later, I'm saying it right now. Let's make 2024 great. Let's make this an even greater place for more people to like, subscribe, and do everything to make this channel even larger. I just want to say how grateful I am for all of you who are here right now, today. And with that being said, hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, subscribe, even become a member because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later peoples.